The Jamaican currency is of no value, they say, as it keeps sliding and making cost of living higher for the Jamaican population. Let's dissect this mental construct.
The Jam Fam family. Jam Fam, come hang with me. Yeah.
Hello, Wagwan. Big up yourself, whether you're there yard or you're there abroad. Welcome back to another episode of Life with the Jam Fams. So for this episode, we're going to be exploring the Jamaican dollar and its value. Should we be using another currency or pegging ours to another country's currency? Let's explore how this would affect our economy. Additionally, we will explore consumption tax and see how Jamaica's economy compare with other nations within this regard. Firstly, the disclaimer: I'm by no means a financial analyst. I'm just financially literate and enjoy researching ideologies, examining their sources, other perspectives, and their impact on our development and advancement. So let's dive in. Jamaica has a floating currency. This is a currency whose value fluctuates freely against other currency in the foreign exchange market. Currencies like the US dollar, the euro, the Canadian dollar, and the British pound are floating currencies. Floating exchange rates can offer flexibility in adjusting to economic shocks and can help countries maintain independent monetary policies, although they can lead to increased volatility and uncertainty in international trade and investment. The alternative is currency pegging, which means tying a nation's currency exchange rate to that of another nation. This is intended to provide stability to a nation's currency and its economy by linking it to another already stable currency. Many countries with pegged currency experience currency devaluation or high inflations in their economy, which increases cost of living in those countries. Bahamas, Barbados, Cayman Islands, and the Eastern Caribbean all have pegged currency and have some of the highest cost of living scores in the region. Suriname's currency pegging to the US dollar was a key factor in the country's high inflation rates. While the pegging initially provided stability, it became unsustainable in the face of economic shocks and led to significant currency devaluation and economic inflations. To address the challenges of the pegged currency and the rising inflation, Suriname moved back to the floating exchange rate in March of 2016. There are many people who talk about Jamaica's inflation, but in 2025, Jamaica's headline inflation rate is predicted to be around 5% according to Statista. This is a slight decrease compared to the 5.8% inflation in 2024. Remember, we had a hurricane and a tropical storm in 2024. Hurricane Beryl caused an estimate of 32.2 billion Jamaican dollars in damages and losses. This represents 1.1% of the country's 2023 GDP. However, the economy has bounced back. To put this inflation into perspective, global inflation is around 4% and the Caribbean inflation rate is 6.2% according to the World Economic Outlook report. Maybe Jamaica and the Caribbean would benefit from having a common currency in the CARICOM nations. The CARI, as they jointly build more stable economies. It's food for thought. Let us know what you think about that in the comments below. There are many who believe that Jamaica's consumption tax is detrimental to people in the working class and contributes to struggles that they face in their income threshold and being able to afford the necessary things that they need. And so we're going to have a little look at consumption tax, and also to make it relevant and applicable, we're also going to look at that in other parts of the world. A consumption tax is a tax levied on goods and services. Some economists argue that taxes on consumption are always more efficient than taxes on income, because not everyone pays income tax. Therefore, those who do experience a disincentive effect. All the population consume, and hence more people contribute when consumption tax is levied. This is because people are taxed on how much they consume rather than how much they earn. There are those people who oppose the consumption tax because they believe that, like income tax, it is detrimental to working class people due to their basic goods and service costs and low income ratio. What is sure is that electoral governments need a way of funding social spending, and therefore a combination of taxes and fees will need to be levied on individuals for this to be realized. Before we compare some of the consumption taxes across the world, we just want to highlight that when we refer to standard rate, this simply means that it is payable on most purchase. However, there can be a higher or lower levied tax depending on the goods and services. The EU's average standard VAT value added tax rate is 21.8%. Hungary, who has the highest VAT in the world, is at 27%. And this is followed by Finland, which is at 25.5%. And Croatia, Denmark, and Sweden all having 25%. Luxembourg levies the lowest standard value-added tax rate in Europe at 17%, followed by Malta's 18% and Cyprus, Germany, and Romania charging 19%. The UK, although having income tax and several other fees and charges, has a standard VAT rate of 20%, and this has been in effect since 2011 according to CGO Legal. We are going to be looking at other parts of the world before coming back closer to home. And the information that we're going to be using here are according to global VAT compliance, and it is as of April 2nd, 2025. So, in terms of the Caribbean, we have St. Kitts and Nevis, and they have the highest VAT or sales tax or consumption tax in the Caribbean region of 17%. However, they have zero income tax and having 25% corporate tax in order to make up for losses in revenue from VAT. Australia, Barbados, and Bahrain are at 10%, whilst Aruba doesn't charge a consumption tax. Nevertheless, the IMF have suggested that they should implement one. Countries like Bermuda, British Virgin Islands, Brunei, Cayman Islands, Gibraltar, Guernsey, Hong Kong, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, Turks and Caicos Islands are among some of the countries with zero sale taxes. On the African continent, we're just going to look at a few countries. So Botswana has a 14% VAT. Nigeria has a 7.5% standard rate. And South Africa has a 15% VAT. In the Asian Pacific countries like Singapore, it is 9% standard rate. Taiwan is 5% standard rate. Thailand is 7% standard rate. And Vietnam is 8% standard rate. Again, these are information from Global VAT Compliance, and they are up to date from the 2nd of April 2025. Now we're coming closer to home again, and we're going to be looking at the United States. So in the United States, Alaska, Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire, and Oregon are the 5 U.S. states that do not levy a statewide sales tax. Individual municipalities charge local sales tax in some areas, and property and income taxes may be higher to offset the revenue loss from sales taxes. In states that charge a sales tax, it can be as high as 12.75% according to QuickBooks and CNBC. In Canada, there is a 5% goods and services tax, which is called GST, in provinces such as Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, Northwest Territories, Nunavut, Quebec, Saskatchewan, and Yukon. Hopefully, I've pronounced those provinces correctly. However, in Ontario, this has a drastic increase of 13% and called Harmonized Sale Tax, HST. HST is also 14% in Nova Scotia. It's at 15% in New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and Labrador, and Prince Edward Island. And the source of this information is the Canadian government website. The standard rate of general consumption tax, GCT, in Jamaica currently is 15%. Higher or lower rates of GCT are applicable to certain goods and services. Some people believe that this should be lower due to Jamaica's classification as an upper middle income country by the World Bank. However, countries have a mix of goods and services tax, regardless of income classification, and therefore much more intricate calibrations are required to make these determinations. Tell us your view on the matter of consumption taxes in the comments below, and also on your view of whether or not the Jamaican currency has value, and should it be continue to be a floating currency, or should it be a pegged currency, or should we use a different currency in its entirety? Do let us know in the comments below. We look forward to reading your ideas. Elion, I wanted to come in and check to see how you were and how your day was.
My head hurts.
Okay. So, did you think you have a chance to rest and hydrate? Anything exciting today?
We have a school trip at the end of the school year.
Oh, is it something you're excited about? Anywhere special?
We'll have to find out.
Where is it going? East Coast, West Coast, North Coast, South Coast?
You'll have to find out.
Oh, really? Why?
You'll have to find out.
What, I have to wait to get the letter? Are you excited about it though?
I wouldn't say excited.
Why not?
Because although it's good that we're getting a trip, there's also lots of factors.
Factors like what?
Like conditions in order for us to go on a trip.
Okay, but that's similar to the UK, isn't it? Because, well, in my school that I used to work in, we used to have conditions on them getting to go on certain trips and going to certain places and certain activities. But we had what's called ALD days, so throughout the year, where people were able to go on trips. But I know other schools that I've worked in before, they had just one that comes at the end of the year, where it's either rewards trip or it's just a year group trip. But if people have too much negatives or too much detentions or things like that, then they wouldn't get to go on the trip. What were some of the requirements for this one?
For this one?
For yours?
It's not really about behavior for this one.
Okay.
But the problem for me is the price.
Why?
What comes in the package and what I have to wear.
Okay. So do you think when you compare, because in the UK you would have to pay for it too, so do you think it's more cost, it's not as cost efficient, the package they're offering?
Normally, when I go on trips, it's actually cheaper to go to school than it is to go by myself, and transport is involved, and you get food if that's what you want to have.
And now?
And now, although transportation is involved, food is not included, and you don't get to go on all of the rides, and the price to go is way more expensive than if I were to go on my own, and I would get to go on all of the rides except the zip line. But I
Okay.
don't really want to go on any zip line.
Oh, so is it that the tickets that they're getting, you have, if you want to go on other things, you have to top up to go on it?
No, the only thing you have to top up on is the zip line, but you have to buy that in advance.
Okay. So you think overall, you don't think that the price point that they are giving it to students
It's
is
not worth
benefit?
it.
Okay.
And I can go wear my own personal clothes that I feel more comfortable in for much cheaper.
Oh gosh. But it gives you an opportunity to close out the summer term with your friends,
Yes, but
enjoying
I
life.
can also go out on a random day and do the same thing for cheaper.
That is true if you're concerned with the economics of it, rather than the experience of it. But the good thing is that you're getting to go on a trip, and hopefully this one go ahead, because what happened last year?
Cancel.
So
And they cancelled it on the very morning.
So hopefully this one isn't cancelled, and it will actually be a fun time out with your friends, saying goodbye. Because
But it's only one of my friends is able to go because they changed the date again for the third time.
okay, so it's a little bit inconsistent. Well,
And most of them are leaving, so you can't even say goodbye on the trip.
okay. I follow. So they are going to other different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and also people going to different schools within the local. So all three things. Okay.
And also I'll be the only person out of my entire friend group in my class.
Okay. In your option block.
I I didn't have the same option subjects, and none of us are in the same field. Well, I'm not in the same field as them. Most of them are in the same field.
Okay, because you decided to go into the science pool, and they
Which I regret going in.
well, it's not whilst your friendships are good,
It's not about friendship.
your future is a priority because you'll have your friends.
Is that now the time seeing the exams? It's easier to just to go to the business route, because business is literally just common sense.
Okay.
And a little bit of maps.
But then will that have worked? Remember, your option was based on your career path that you want to take.
I'm also to be into business.
You're also interested in that.
And my main career was to be a fashion designer, and I already have that in my option.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
But you were giving yourself your backup options, so which needed the science to do.
There's lots of other businesses like a creative fashion doesn't work out.
Well, my hope is that you'll be able to go and spend some time with your friends, enjoy it before the summer hits, and everybody is off on their own adventures over the summer. So you have a decision to make now, whether you're going on the trip or not, huh? Well, the decision is up to you, because you know I'm not going to say no if it's a school trip. So there we go. What's your decision? Pending? Okay then. I'm in court trying to get one of these because mine conked out yesterday, and so I need to get a replacement because I need to have one. So I'm just getting a backup one for now, and then I'll replace myself with a good one. But these are the prices. So I'm going to try and see where I can get one suitable for me and my needs, because I just need one to do my season blend for now, because I have another combi one that I can use for other things. Let's see what I end up getting. I'm going for value for money. I had to go out today and get myself a new device because my trusted one that I had before have come to the end of its life. So I had to go out and get this one, because this one has decided it's not going to work, and I am partway through my blend and it has stopped working. I haven't checked to see if it has anything to do with the fuse, although I do have some spare fuse, so I can check that. But I decided I'm going to get this because that's the one I use for my season blend, because my other unit that I have, I don't want to give it too much pressure. I'm trying to blend with it because blending that much seasoning is heavy work. So I'm going to crack this one open and see how it goes. Hopefully it can do the job. So I need something simply for that one purpose. That's all it's going to be doing. So hopefully it will be able to stand up to the test. We'll see. So I've just cracked it open. It has the jug, which let's see what else. So I've got this bit, which is, I think that's the lid. So the other piece is under there, so let's go get it. And this is a new addition to the family, all washed and fitted up. I am going to need to adjust my head to using this one, because even the stove have the 3-prong plug, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. So I'm just going to blend this batch and the other one that was being stored in that container, and then just pack them away, and I'll come back with a verdict of how well it works. And there it goes. It's not doing too bad. It's going quite well. Looks good. So we've got a new addition to the family, and we'll keep it hopefully for a good little while. It started smoking, so I decided to resort back to my trusty genie, and we've got the job done. And I know next time when I'm using the other one, I just need to put very small quantities in at a time, because it's not going to manage the high load like my other one would. All done now. I just need to bag them out and pack it away. So victory at the end of the day. And the good thing is I now know that the other machine that I just got, the new addition to the family, will not be able to manage the load that my old one that I'm going to need to throw out was able to do. But it can manage to get me my blends when I need them. So I say thank you and farewell to this one.
The Jamaican family, where I living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. The Jam Fam family, where I living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. Jam Fam, come hang with me. The Jam Fam family, Jam Fam, come hang with me, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thanks again for staying with us here on this another episode of Life with the Jam Fams. Bye for now, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.